Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Mondo. Got a book, and I just wanted to share and talk about it. So today, I wanted to talk about the Incal, son. The Incal by Jodorowsky and Moebius. This is the deluxe edition by Humanoids, because when it comes to Moebius's art, the bigger the better. I am extra like that. So I just wanted to talk about it. Let's open this bad bear up and get started. Right on. So this is it. We got the deluxe edition here. Again by Humanoids. Slipcase. $149.99 is the MSRP on this. I don't remember how much I got it for, but it was definitely discounted. I didn't pay full price for this. So what's inside? Not a whole lot. It does have two things in there. Has a book, of course. Ribbon. Nice hefty size. This bad bear's pretty heavy, actually. And then you have, bam, a little extra in French. Suppose you can frame these. That'd be kind of dope. So let's get started with the story. The inception of the Incal, it's an interesting one because Humanoid's publisher and one of my favorite comic book writers of mine is Mark Waid. And Mark Waid writes the foreword and gives a bit of context. Jodorowsky was intent on getting Frank Hubert's Dune onto the big screen. This was prior to the sci-fi explosion of Star Wars, so investors were wary and Jodorowsky never got the funding to proceed. During the prelim process of Dune, Moebius came on board to flesh out some conceptual work. They ended up getting along great, so the partnership was formed and some unused Dune movie concepts were used in the creation of this book, The Incal. I personally have read the first trilogy of the Dune novels and was able to see some inspirational swipes from the novel. Some of it was thematic, like the hero's journey, destiny as a blessing and curse, political intrigue, as well as like things like Medusa's wet second skin, that Leto, the second symbiotic skin with the sand trout. Tom DeFool, the book's protagonist, he's not a paragon, guys. This guy's kind of a dick, which makes me wonder if Tom's surname DeFool was a play on the fool. Selfish, unkept, a second-rate private eye that would rather drink and sex away his problems than address them and overcome them. I personally enjoy imperfect, even unlikable main characters. There tends to be a level in which the reader can associate with them, whether they like to or not. So, also the accomplishments feel much more satisfying and earn as the main character doesn't have to answer to every problem, nor the physical prowess to fight his way out of everything. This also gives much more importance to the bonds of camaraderie and friendship, which Tom must rely on as sometimes things just get big to him for him to tackle on his own. The MacGuffin that drives the whole story is the Incal. Without spoiling it for people that haven't read and wish to read it, I'll just say it's like a supercomputer that Tom accidentally gets a hold of during a misadventure. Upon acquiring the Incal, all hell breaks loose as factions from all over the race to acquire it. The first chapters are getting you acquainted with Tom, the world, and the Incal. It's a fairly direct story in the beginning. It does a great job with its pace. I was able to follow along with the world building. I have to say, however, it not only stops holding your hand in the later chapters, you'll need to be on your toes as B, C, D, and E and F plot threads begin to stray and then return. Sometimes I had to go back a few issues to remember what was happening in certain scenarios, which isn't revisited until later. Admittedly, that may be a personal problem. You may not have the same experience and wonder what the hell I was talking about. What is clear is the motivation of the various individuals and factions. You know where they lie and what their motivations are. When the trippy lunacy reaches 100, you know where people stand, and it does get really weird, really fast. I discussed the basics of the story, but let's be honest, the Incal would not be the Incal with the absolute brilliance of Moebius. His work is absolutely stunning. The lunacy I speak of are these incredible pages full of trippy, hallucinogenic artwork. The creatures, the monsters, and characters are all distinct. When you reach a splash page of an important moment, you can be sure you'll be staring at that page well after you've read the text. I couldn't help but comb over the fine details of the Moebius art. It's absurdly detailed. His work reminds me of the Hernandez brothers in that every character in the foreground and background aren't stagnant. Everyone is getting on with their lives, and the characters in the backgrounds have lives and purposes well beyond the panel. His hyper-detailed work is akin to me, Jeff Darrow and Katsuhiro Otomo. Every panel feels like it must have taken ages to create. There are lines on lines and outcomes never disappoint. I mean, Moebius doesn't phone any of this in. What draws me to his characters are his faces. The women are beautiful, carrying a sense of sensuality along with intent and agency. The men range from grizzled to handsome to goofy. Sometimes I come across artists like Greg Capullo, which I absolutely love, but his faces can be a little samey. Moebius is capable of putting enough unique features in every character's face to immediately discern who is who. I genuinely enjoy the social commentary as well. The detachment of reality and obsession with television and reality television, decades before its actual inception, mind you. The idle and content plebs, docile and sedated within the confines of their homes, consuming slop while megalomaniacal dickheads run things, and just how institutions like their people, frankly. And the landscape created in suffocating claustrophobia is contrasted by the massive scale of the cities. There's a complete disconnect and alienation within the people, all the while packed within concentrated locations. All this technological wonder, and I mean, I have zero desire to live here. Anyways, this book is a masterpiece, man. Like, this was my first read through. I'm aware of Moebius's work as far as his art is concerned, but I've never read this book. I've been meaning to buy them in, the regular size versions, but then when this deluxe came out, I had to get it. I'm like, this is gonna be my first read. Let's make it big. So yeah, I mean, it gets trippy, it gets psychedelic, it gets pretty nonsensical sometimes, but the ending is 1000% worth it. I love the ending. I mean, it's awesome. So, yeah, if you haven't read it, my suggestion is to read it. Get any version you want. If you have read it, I'd like to hear what you think about it. If you've seen any like Dune references that I may have missed, that'd be really cool. If anybody's read beyond the first 3 Dune books, I'd like to hear if there's anything else in here that you may have caught on to. But yeah, this has been my little quick overview of Jodorowsky and Moebius's The Incal, the special deluxe edition. Hope you like it, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.